Alright, it's finally here. My brand new Eaton UPS. I cannot wait to get this thing open. So for the uninitiated, this is an Eaton 5PX 1500 RT rack mount 2U UPS. This thing costs about $1,200 MSRP. However, we got it for about $249 off a sale on NewEgg. So as you can imagine, I'm actually really excited to get this thing operational because if you may recall from previous videos, I'm actually only running on one UPS right now that I want to get rid of entirely for rack mounted UPS. UPSI. UPSI. So yeah, this is the first time I've ever opened one of these, so you're going to have to bear with me while I go through it. Looks like they give you some cool front bezels that some assembly required. We'll figure that part out later. It comes with its own screwdriver. Wow. That's actually pretty cool of them. We have serial to Ethernet, some USB 2.0 and USB 2.0B, another serial to Ethernet cable. Oh, that's actually attached. This is a NEMA 15, I think, or whatever it is. We got, I'm assuming these are rails. It should come with it, which is really neat. We'll crack that open here in a minute. See some more stuff. Oh, that's the handles. Yeah, so if you didn't notice, this box actually has its own handles, something I've never seen before either. This thing is rated to do 1440, oh wait, is this loose? 1440 watts. So ideally that'll give us roughly maybe 15-20 minutes of runtime on full load. I literally just guessed that number, so don't quote me on that. And we won't be putting it at full load at all. We'll probably be pushing about 300 watts, give or take. So we'll probably see closer to 30 to 40 minutes of runtime, hopefully. This thing is absolutely massive. Wow. Oh, it's so heavy. Oops. All right, cool. I guess let's get it out of this last bit of foam. Now would be a good time to have a helper, actually. All right, there we go. So I've seen pictures where apparently this LCD panel is adjustable. So if you have it rack mounted, you could have it right side up at all times. I literally just gave it a little tug and it came right out. Not really too much to see here on the front. We have, of course, the connects for the battery. The battery is encased in here. Simply remove these screws here and you can take the battery in and out. We have the LCD panel behind this. I don't know if I can take this off relatively quickly. We'll get it powered on and explode these buttons later, but it should be pretty much like any other UPS. You know, battery test mode, silent somewhere in there, all sorts of cool things, or features, I suppose. So let's go ahead and flip around the back and see what we have. Taking a look at the back here, we have 8 NEMA 515R ports, I suppose, or plugs, whatever you want to call them. In the rear, we have a battery expander here, so you can connect multiple batteries together. And on the far left, you can see that this actually comes with its own network card built into the machine. Normally this is an option. You can actually get this as an option on other models, but this particular one already comes with it, which is giving us a huge savings. And then also you have your serial connections back here should you choose to go via Ethernet or USB. Another interesting thing about this is that the management software to manage this is actually free. That is for the, I guess, most base software. There are 2 other options, an IPM Silver and Gold, but we're not at Enterprise, so that doesn't really apply to us in that situation. And then, of course, in terms of dimensions, this thing is 3.4 inches tall, 17.4 inches wide, and 20.6 inches in depth or length. All right, let's go ahead and open this and see what we have inside. We have some, looks like some screws and some other attachments, probably to attach these rails. We have the front bracket, left bracket for the front as well, and then the rail kit itself. They look to be adjustable, so if you have different lengths of server racks that aren't quite standard, you may have some options. I'm not quite sure how far out these go, but that looks to be like a full-length server rack to me. And this is pretty heavy material. These things are maybe 5 pounds on their own. I'm just guessing, of course. So pretty simple and straightforward. It just rests on top of here and you're good to go. We're just gonna try and install these brackets somewhat quickly here. I should probably read the instructions first, actually, just in case. So it turns out the installation of these front brackets right here is actually pretty simple. You just take these black screws right here and screw them in. It looked like wherever you would like, but I'm just gonna do it here so it's flush with the front. It seems like an appropriate spot. And of course I am using the free screwdriver I got from them, and it does appear to be magnetic, which is kind of nice, so you can pick up screws with it. A nice touch that you don't see too often with included tools. I honestly can't tell if it's really that high of a quality of a tool, but you know, for what it is, I'm happy that they included it. It was really nice of them. Okay, so I'm gonna install the other bracket here soon, and then I'm gonna get these installed on the rack, so we'll just skip ahead to that part. Crap, I don't know why I do this to myself. Having a home lab is terrible, but awesome. Okay, so what we're gonna do is remove this bottom shelf here. We're gonna slide in the 2U Eaton UPS where that is, and basically shift everything either up or down so it's nice and tight, fills in all these gaps, and it doesn't look so out of place. Also, I have those 2 1U servers coming in probably June 30th, so we have to consider having space for those Dell R330s as well. So I guess without any further waiting, let's go ahead and get that squared away. So before I forget, I am going to have to shut down all of the virtual machines running on Transcendia and also the virtual machines running on Akatosh. So I normally forget to do this all the time. Actually, these don't really matter, so I'm just going to turn this straight off. No sense in doing anything, so power down. And then now I need to turn off Akatosh, so that way I can install the UPS, because what I want to avoid doing is trying to install that UPS and knocking it around on the rack, because if I knock it around too much, I may actually damage some of the hard drives in there that are spinning, maybe possibly writing data, or whatever might be going on. So I'm shutting everything down because I'm a sole man on this job, and I won't be able to get assistance while installing these things and prevent myself from banging the servers around too much because the batteries are so heavy. So let's go ahead and get started, I guess. So at about 7 feet away, the UPS and the entire sound of the entire system or rack that's over there, we're looking at about 42 decibels, give or take. So between 42 and 44 decibels at 7 feet away. So we are almost exactly 4 feet away from the server, and I'm seeing about 45 decibels to 47 depending on how the fans are spinning up, and that's in total with the system. So the ups does add more sound, but not any more than we're already used to hearing. Okay, so let's go ahead and poke around a bit on some of the options that we have within this thing. So I did already power it up, and when you do power it up for the first time, it actually doesn't start delivering power from the batteries or even from the wall to any of your equipment. There is a stage where you actually have to turn the UPS on. So when you first turn this thing on, you have to go to settings, on-off settings, and then here's a bunch of different options for on-off. You can do a cold start, forced reboot, auto restart, energy saving, sleep mode, remote command, and that's about it. So in here is where you actually have to turn it on for the first time to allow the system to provide electricity to your servers. I haven't gone through all of these, and I don't know which of these do. Maybe I'll find out one day and do a follow-up video if you guys are interested in knowing everything about this thing. But there's all sorts of cool options in here. Like a lot of this stuff I haven't really seen before. Oh, speaking of seeing before, so I know everyone's always curious about Audible Alarms. So just real quick to go back. So if you go to the menu, under settings, under local settings, Audible Alarm, there is the ability to disable and enable the Audible Alarm. So this is like a must-have for home use because who knows how loud these things are. And I've had that turned off since I had it. And of course there's other settings in here like LCD and stuff. So one thing that's really cool is it always shows you the kilowatt hours and volt amperage of the system. It shows you the battery is charged 100%, and it's got approximately 29 minutes of runtime if I were to pull the plug and or the electricity were to go out. And it is operating at approximately 92% efficiency, which is always great to see. So let's see if we can change some of these measurements. We will do... Oh, this is actually just a display. So it's intaking almost 120 volts from the wall, and it's outputting just under 120 volts as well to the systems. This thing's got all sorts of data, which is really cool. I'd actually be really interested to see what the remote access information has on display. Let's get out of here. Let's see what power usage has. So pretty much a lot of the same stuff in watt hours. It's currently using an average of 300 watt hours and a primary of 155. I'm not sure what that 155 means. I guess that's maybe the group? I'm not entirely sure. And yes, this thing has been on for 4 days. So I did have to take a break there before I could wrap up filming. I feel like we could spend, a good amount of time going through all of these different settings. And if I were a reviewer, I would probably do that for you guys. But in this case, I am not going to do that. But I did want to give you a small glimpse of the things that you might care about if you were to get one for yourself. So we have all this wonderful space here. When I do go to Toys R Us and I do pick up those 2 Dell R330s, they are 1U, so they should be able to fit right here, and I have plenty of space for both. And it looks like, so 1, 2, it looks like I have 1 more U of space for anything else should I desire. Ultimate goal though is to get another Eaton UPS and stick it all the way at the bottom, have those 2, and that should be a totally filled server rack. So I've been asked about cable management a little bit in the past, and this is my first real attempt at managing the cables on the rear side. So as you can tell, cables kind of run up along the tops here. I don't know if you can really see these cables. And I have them with Velcro ties to the shelf that's right up here. And all of the cables kind of run down here on the left, and then they just kind of split out to wherever they need to go. So have a lot of cables going, or a lot of network cables going to the top server. And then for power, we have this ugly PDU that I just have mounted here. And so both of the batteries are connected to this, and this goes to the wall. So most of the cables are actually just like kind of tucked away in there. and pretty hidden. And I've got some cables that run out to other computers or systems. Like this is a monitor. The one on the far left is a battery. The second one to the right of that is a laptop. And then this goes to this. So this is Ethernet over power. And this delivers Ethernet to the TV downstairs. And then of course this is the battery as well. And that's pretty much the setup here. This is Akatosh and Transcensia from the rear. And that cable right there will be going to the future wireless access point. And well, that's pretty much the conclusion of this video. If you guys have any questions about the Eaton UPS, feel free to drop a comment below and I'll do my best to answer your questions. And on that note, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.